See, Marquette. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Talking Terps with Maryland's head basketball coach, Buzz Williams. I'm Johnny Holiday. We're at Lido's in College Park, as always, to talk to the coach about the Maryland basketball program, where they've been, where they're going to go, all presented by Thompson Creek. And, Coach, good to see you again. I know when you went back to Milwaukee, that had to be a kind of an emotional trip for you. We haven't had a show since then, and you came away with a win, 87-82. But what memories it must have brought back to you to be back in – well, you really made a mark with that program with the Golden Eagles.
Very strange in every possible way, personally and professionally. It had been 12 years since I had been back and or my family had been back. And then to be able to play versus Marquette, and a lot of what transpired at Marquette is what eventually transpired and led to Maryland. So I'm very aware of all of the good things. Only good things do I remember. But there were a lot of emotions that I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about game 4 of our program in year number 1. I guess that was in week number 2 of the program. And so we were trying to handle a lot of different things at that point. A lot of things have changed even since then. And then a very inspired effort after Gochi fell with whatever that was, 10 plus minutes in the game. I think we were down 5 when he got hurt. Phenomenal effort by a lot of guys that had never been on that stage in that sort of environment. Great growth for our program and for those young guys. But there was for sure a lot of emotion that came with that game.
He took I've never seen a guy go down that hard. I mean,
it was the first time I had ever seen Gochi on the floor since I've known him. And the angle that I was at, I know it's technical foul worthy, but I just sprinted on the floor because it did not look good at all. And he was, I don't know all of the adjectives to use, but he is the most beautiful player I've ever coached as a human being, taller than 6'5". Like he's a very pure human being. And the inaudible sounds that were coming out of his mouth in pain by the time I got there really caught me off guard. And I thought the response of the staff and the team that stayed in the huddle, I don't know exactly in real time how long I was gone, but whatever they were saying when I was not there was better than what I was saying the previous 30 minutes because what transpired over the last 10 minutes, I cannot take credit for, but it speaks to who was in that huddle because we lost our best player and the game completely changed on the road. And not that playing in Baltimore wasn't a quote road game. It was more neutral site-ish. Playing in Milwaukee against the top 15 perennial program, that's a different environment. And that was the first time, like I said, in week 2 that we had done that. And so it was phenomenal.
It looked like the injury would keep him sidelined for quite some time, but he's a tough kid. And
I was more worried about his career. I was past the point of he was going to play at Maryland. I did not think it looked good at all. And not that I'm a doctor, or was I trying to prescribe what had happened, but when I was praying over him, when I was touching him, like he was screaming at me where I was touching him. And then when Eddie, our trainer, was touching him, it was wow. We played. I would have to think through the timing of this. It was the Jimmy V at the Garden. It would have been the second, third game, year 4, maybe year 3 at Marquette, and Chris O'Toole, who was our big kid at that time, Chris was running towards half court for a loose ball. And back then, we counted loose balls even more stringent than we do now. Chris dove fingers and toes in the air. And when he landed, he screamed in a way that you do not hear young men scream. And I ran out on the floor, and he had torn his ACL. And that was the level of pain, the inaudible words that Gochi had. So I was scared. I wasn't scared relative to Maryland. I was scared relative to his career because I think he has a bright future. And I know he missed the following Wednesday, but for him to be able to play the following Monday in Vegas,
incredible,
is probably somebody above the level of earth that was in control of that, because to not tear something, sprain something, whatever words a doctor would use, none of that happened. And so we're very thankful.
He averages 17 points a game for you right now. His field goal percentage is like 64%.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the top field goal active guys playing right now in college basketball, like number 4 of all the active players with field goal percentage. That's how valuable he is to this team.
Yeah, and he's had, obviously we're very dependent upon him, and our players accept that, and he is a pressure release for us when things don't go right. But 2 of those games, I didn't think that he played very well from a field goal percentage standpoint. I think he was 5 of 13 on Wednesday at Alabama. And most of the time, all the shots that Gochi shoots, he at least has 5 toes in the charge circle before he shoots. I thought 22 at Alabama is an elite defender. Gochi didn't finish very well. And there was another game he went 5 of 12 that I thought was an outlier. I can't remember. TJ would know, but there's been 2 games that I didn't think he played up to par, but he's been through 8 games. We are very dependent on him, and we've got to continue to find ways to give him space. And at the same time, some of the space that he has, we need to reconfigure how it can make it easier on the other side for a guard, because he commands so much attention. And our coaches are doing a good job of trying to discern how to be better at doing that. It's not quite as easy when he commands as much attention with the other 4 guys on just throw it to him. Like, we're trying to throw it to him. We know we're trying to throw it to him. Their coach knows we're trying to throw it to him. Their players know we're trying to throw it to him. And so it's a little bit more detailed than that, but I do think that we're starting to find different avenues that I think as the next 100 days play out will be beneficial to us.
And you can see Pharrell tomorrow night. The Terrapins take on Wagner at Xfinity Center, back home for 1 game this week, then off to Iowa for a game on Saturday. Are brought to you by Thompson Creek Window Company, a proud partner of Maryland Athletics. Thompson Creek designs, they build, they install replacement windows from their local Maryland factory. You get yourself some high-quality windows at an affordable price without the middleman markup. We'll come back to Lido's in College Park. More from Coach Buzz Williams in just a minute on the Maryland Sports Radio Network.
From quote to cleanup, we move fast. Call Thompson Creek and get new windows in 2 weeks, roofing in 3 days, siding in 1 week, and gutters in just 48 hours. We cut out the middleman to give you better prices and faster service, because your home improvement project shouldn't take months. Skip the wait. Call now and get a free quote. And now, for a limited time, it's our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on everything. There's never been a better time to buy.
Home, sweet Thompson Creek.
At Planet Fitness, no 2 members are alike. Their routines are different. They use different equipment.
1, 2, 3.
Woo! And they do it for different reasons.
All right. You're a mythical beast.
But they all have one thing in common.
You got this. Come on.
They're all strong.
That's right.
We're all strong on this planet. Planet Fitness.
1 more, everybody.
1 more? I got 5 more.
Before we talk Abbott Big Ten blood drive ideas, let's get in the competitive spirit with the scavenger hunt. I worked all weekend on that.
Save lives and help win your school $1 million.
It's okay. It's in your nature.
Johnny Holiday, along with Maryland's head basketball coach Buzz Williams. Happy to have you with us tonight for our basketball show, and we preview Wagner coming up tomorrow night. The Seahawks come to town at 1-5, and the Terrapins now 5-3. SeatGeek's the official ticket marketplace of the Terrapins. Whether you're buying or selling basketball tickets, SeatGeek is the place to do it. You went to Las Vegas, coach, out there in that Players Era Championship, soon to become probably the marquee tournament in season for college basketball.
I don't think there's any question about that. I think what it was a year ago at this time and what it was this past week and what I anticipate it'll be a year from now, we're very grateful to be a part of what comes with it, the stage, the opportunity, the competition, to be able to play in an event like that versus 2 of our 3 games were against top 10 teams, both of which arguably are good enough to win the national championship from a roster standpoint, from a style of play standpoint, from a coaching staff standpoint. We were able to learn lessons not only about us, but as a staff, when you're in that kind of environment and there's 18 teams. There were a lot of teams that went 0-3. Some teams went 0-3 that are not 0-3 teams. Teams that went 1-2 that are not necessarily 1-2 teams, but the margin in those types of events, we learned so much about ourselves, and a lot of it is hard to swallow. To be able to compete at that level in week 4 in year 1, we probably have to normalize some of those lessons for now, but I think that growth that will come from, the first 10 minutes of the second half, we played 4 freshmen and Gochi. And some of the things that we have been saying, we didn't have to say. They were living it. And they were living it in a very embarrassed state. And some of that from a competitive character standpoint is really hard to digest, but long-term to be able to get that so early, if you're going to get figuratively kicked in the head the way that we did, it cuts out some words because now they're living it. And so a lot of good things have come from it. We have already begun to take some of the lessons and begin to try to figure out how to apply them on both sides of the ball. And as we continue to get more and more bodies healthy where we can practice 5-on-5, some of the things that we missed in October in normal training camp install, that's kind of where we are, even though today is December the 1st. But to be able to figure those things out amidst a lot of things that we couldn't control, some of the lessons that I think will come from our 5 days in Vegas are very beneficial to our program now, but I also think long-term for us to be able to play in that event and learn those lessons, that's unquantifiable.
Well, Coach, as you mentioned, very few teams, if any teams, play a couple of top 15 or top 12 teams in the country this early in the season.
Well, some of that are scheduling decisions. Obviously, we want to play in that event. Well, we're scheduled to play in that event next year. We're thankful for the founders of that event that are going to allow us to participate. Mr. Smith, since he's been hired, has been kept up to date on all that tournament has been, currently is, and will become. But there's a variety of ways you can maybe play all home games and pay the teams that have a direction or a hyphen in their schools. And I used to coach at those schools, and I'm very aware of what that is. But I also think that some of this is just kind of jump in the deep end, even if your roster is not ready for it, because that's where you're wanting the program to grow. And so playing Georgetown for the first time in decade plus, I think that's important long-term. Playing them at Georgetown next year, I think that's important long-term. I understand the rivalry, but I'm just talking about the level of competition.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the following week, playing another Big East opponent on the road. I understand that was the back end of a home-and-home series that Coach Willard had agreed to. And then to be able to play 3 games in a row. 3 games in a row is a lot for anybody, including the 13 other teams that did it like us. We could have been one of the bottom 4 teams that played on Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
So there's a lot that comes from it. 8 games in November is the most that you can play. And then, this will be the first time in our careers together. GY may have done it once. I don't think Rock has, but I think this will be the first time any of us have played 20 conference games with 2 of them coming back to back. So there's a lot of growth opportunities in front of us. We're just way behind where we should be relative to an identity on both sides of the ball. Some of that we could have done better. Some of that we couldn't have controlled. And transparently, some of what we've done, whether it's Mount St. Mary's, whether it's Georgetown, whether it's Marquette, some of the adaptations we have made relative to that specific game, our guys have done a really good job playing to that specific scouting report. We tried to make some changes going into Tuesday's game without a practice. That was bad coaching on my part. We tried to make some different changes going into the Alabama game because we have had a history of what Alabama does. We're just not at the state where we've had enough accumulation of reps of 5-on-5 to be able to adjust in a conference room. That's an excuse. The excuse does not suffice losing by 30 plus at home or 30 plus back-to-back nights. And that's on me. But I do think long-term, the things that they're learning, we can apply and we can continue to make adjustments. And there's no resistance to those adjustments because they realize those adjustments are needed.
We're talking to Maryland's head basketball coach, Buzz Williams. We'll talk more with Coach in just a minute. The University of Maryland Medical Systems, the official medical team of the Terrapins, you and your family can expect the same level of exceptional care that the athletes receive. You can learn more at umms.org/better. Back to Lido's with more in just a minute on the Maryland Sports Radio Network.
From quote to cleanup, we move fast. Call Thompson Creek and get new windows in 2 weeks, roofing in 3 days, siding in 1 week, and gutters in just 48 hours. We cut out the middleman to give you better prices and faster service because your home improvement project shouldn't take months. Skip the wait. Call now and get a free quote. And now for a limited time, it's our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on everything. There's never been a better time to buy.
Home, sweet Thompson Creek. In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these 2. They're all about having fun. That's fun. This is fun. Whoa. Too much fun? Nah, no such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So head to the coast and, well, just coast. Pump up the volume, or just pump up the pool floaty. From the boardwalk to the bay, come discover somewhere to smile about.
Before we talk Abbott Big Ten blood drive ideas, let's get in the competitive spirit with the scavenger hunt. I worked all weekend on that.
Save lives and help win your school $1 million.
It's okay. It's in your nature.
Come to Rosecroft Raceway for live racing Mondays and Thursdays from now until the 18th of December. Post time is 7:15 p.m. Open every day for simulcast, live boxing, and banquet space. Visit us anytime at rosecroft.com.
Welcome back to Lido's in College Park. Maryland head basketball coach Buzz Williams alongside. I'm Johnny Holiday. Only 6 Maryland basketball players have scored 40 points or more at the University of Maryland. I had the chance, Coach, to be watching the games with 3 of those guys, Len Bias, also Gravis Vasquez, and now Diggy Coit. He had 41.
Which game did you not see?
I didn't see the one with Ernie Graham when he had 44 against State. That was 1978. I started in 1979.
And the game that Diggy scored 41 was that your 1500?
It was, yes.
Oh, really?
Thanks for the basket of fruit.
Yeah, I guess it happened either at halftime or
it was halftime. No, first time out. First time out.
When they honored you?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I think you were at the timeout huddle at the time.
I can't remember if it was my daughter or son. They sent me a picture of you and your family. It looked like your grandchildren.
Yes.
Or it looked like maybe
There's a
I've
lot
never
of
met
them.
them, but
Yeah.
everybody was there.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly. I must have got that the night after the game. And I said, oh, how cool is that? 1,500 games, like, and then they were asking, well, how many games have you coached? And I'm like, I haven't even coached half of the games he's called. But I guess I didn't ask them when that took place. I'm sure we were, it was at the first ATO.
Yes.
Well, odds are we were down.
Yeah.
And so thanks for inviting me.
Hey, you remember the Gravis had 41 at Virginia Tech. You were gone by then.
What year was this?
Okay. Gravis was.
I don't think I had been there.
2010.
Yes, sir. I went to Tech in 14, 15, 2010, 2010, 8.
Did you know the circumstances of that
10,
game?
11, 10, 11.
A beer truck backed into a fire hydrant, and they cut the water system off. So they had to evacuate the Coliseum. We had to wait maybe an hour before we started the game and played with no fans. They wouldn't let anybody in because
there was no water.
There's no water. Yeah,
they were worried about the beer.
Yes, they were. The after effects of the beer they were worried about.
I don't know, sir.
You never heard that happen, huh?
No.
Yeah, that was interesting.
No, I didn't know that.
I'm not sure what kind of beer truck it was, but it flattened that fire hydrant.
They're on campus.
Yeah, on campus, yeah.
And so everybody could just hear your voice as you were commentating the game.
Echo. And
it would probably be
Bill Roth was
Bill Roth would have been with the Hokies.
That's right, exactly, yeah.
So it would have been Bill Roth
hear him, he could hear me.
Mike Berman.
That's right, yeah. And Mike's still doing the games, isn't he, down there?
Yes, sir. And he looks younger now than he did then. I'm not saying he believes in tanning bed or what kind of haircuts he gets.
That's right.
But he plays more tennis than the tennis players at Virginia Tech. He stayed in unbelievably good health. Like he's as good a person as Bill Roth. I know Bill Roth has the voice that you have, but Mike Berman's a great person.
How about Diggy's game, though, when he had that big night against Mount St. Mary's? I mean, to get him to come here is one thing because the guy scored an exceptional amount of points in his career.
In his defense, of a lot of our guys have had to do things that they've never done before. Some of it is because we're asking them to. Some of it is because we haven't had a choice relative to the health of our roster. And so similar to what I was saying in segment one, we could have easily lost that game. And if it wasn't for the heroics of Diggy making unbelievable, I can't believe he shot that and it went in shots. Again, there's a lot to learn, and Diggy has stood up to every challenge, and so have many of our other guys in regards to Diggy's older than everybody on the team, but in regards to what we've had to ask of him, I really admire his willingness to be coached the way that he has. And I admire the young guys that was their, I guess that was their fifth game.
Fifth game, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a fifth game. And some of those guys, and I told the guys 2 days before, I know you may think this is the name of a church. This is the name of a school. And even though you haven't heard of this school, and they may not have recruited you, they're good enough to beat us. And they were good enough to beat us, and for the most part did beat us. But a tribute to our guys, we kind of hung around. And even when they could have stopped.
Without pain too, Coach.
Yeah. Again, you can almost, game number one, what's going on? Well, I don't know. None of us know what's going on. I know it's important to play in Baltimore, and I will say the appropriate things. We ain't never played a game anywhere. So, like if we played in College Park, or if we played in Baltimore, if we played Coppin, if we played somebody else, and then game number one at home. I understand the rivalry as best I can, but it's also our first home game. And then, game number two at home. And then game number one on the road, Marquette. And then game number 1, which is game number 3 at home, play without Gochi. I think we suited up 7 guys, or we suited up 8, and 7 played 194 minutes of the 200. Okay, and now, hey, I think Gochi's going to be healthy. We'll figure out if Miles is going to play. Not sure if Solo's going to play. We need that Thursday, Friday, Saturday after Mount St. Mary's in an overtime win, and Diggy scoring 41, and Gochi not playing. Hey, does anybody know if we're going to be able to play 5-on-5 in College Park before we leave to go to Vegas? And then get to Vegas. Hey, guys, we're going to play UNLV, and they're going to play 19 different zones. Let's try not to kick it all over the gym. We did kick it all over the gym, but we still were able to find a way to win. Okay, and now, guys, we're going to play Gonzaga, and they are really fast, and they can score 100. And then they did. And then, guys, Wednesday morning, Gonzaga wore kind of blue and white, a little bit of red. This team we're about to play, it's a different shade of red with no blue. They can score 150 points, and they kind of do it different. Gonzaga can do it in the channel with the pressure they put on you, but Alabama's going to do it on the perimeter. And so, again, like all of those lessons, as difficult as they are, when you're telling DA this, he wants to do right. When you're telling Dre this, he wants to do right. Willie is still trying to figure out if Alabama is a state or if Mount St. Mary's is a state.
Or a church.
But Willie's making unbelievable decisions in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and he plays the longest stretch of time he's played in his 1-month career, as is Alex Austin. And some of those guys have risen to a level that we weren't anticipating them needing. Some of those decisions made in mid-May were, I think this is right long-term. And so there's just a lot of decisions that go into things that you think are right long-term, but then you have to make adjustments relative to the roster, relative to you made some bad decisions or you were wrong on this part of the decision. This decision of it was right. And so our staff has been great. And we met for 12 hours yesterday. We've met 4 hours today. And as soon as this finishes, we're going to meet some more before we get together. We're continuing to mesh out and flesh out how we can do things that are right for this roster while also having carryover to what we're wanting in the future, and kind of marrying those two that give us our best chance. And we're trying to do that while catching up on how many times have you played? None. How many times have you played? 3. Have you practiced yet? No. And so there's a lot of that. And so as you're making the changes and you're getting more healthy guys, you're like, have you ever done that? No. So this is not an adjustment for you. This is the first time you've ever done the change. And so it's we're having to do a good job preparing our guys, and they're having to do a good job of learning what we're trying to do, while at the same time, guys, we play game number 1 in Big Ten in 4 days.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of making decisions on, regardless of opponent, how can we improve?
We'll have more from Coach Buzz Williams when we come back to Lido's in just a minute on the Maryland Sports Radio Network.
From quote to cleanup, we move fast. Call Thompson Creek and get new windows in 2 weeks, roofing in 3 days, siding in 1 week, and gutters in just 48 hours. We cut out the middleman to give you better prices and faster service, because your home improvement project shouldn't take months. Skip the wait. Call now and get a free quote. And now, for a limited time, it's our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on everything. There's never been a better time to buy.
Home, sweet Thompson Creek.
At Planet Fitness, no two members are alike. Their routines are different. They use different equipment.
1, 2, 3.
And they do it for different reasons.
All right. You're a mythical beast.
But they all have one thing in common.
You got this. Come on.
They're all strong.
That's right.
We're all strong on this planet. Planet Fitness.
One more, everybody.
One more? I got 5 more. Before we talk Abbott Big Ten blood drive ideas, let's get in the competitive spirit with the scavenger hunt. I worked all weekend on that.
Save lives and help win your school $1 million.
It's okay. It's in your nature.
In just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, next Tuesday, December 12th. No, that's not the right date. It's Tuesday now. Whatever next Tuesday is. Yeah. The 9th, maybe? The 9th. The 9th. Tuesday the 9th. Yeah.
Welcome back to Lido's in College Park. Johnny Holiday, Maryland's head basketball coach Buzz Williams. Food Lion's the proud sponsor of the Score to Give More program. For every free throw the Terps make this season, Food Lion Feeds will donate 100 meals to the local food banks of College Park. So right back on the court tomorrow night, Coach, against Wagner. The Seahawks come to town at 1-5. All 6 of their games have been played on the road. You're talking about some of these schools that, have to play games like this. And a team's got kids at 35 points in the game against Manhattan, Nick Jones.
Yeah. I'm sorry for every segment to be such a heavy burden, but they do shoot 41% from 3. And I think they're 14th in the country in that percentage. And they don't necessarily shoot as high of a volume of threes as Alabama does, but that has been an eyesore thus far. We're trying to make some adjustments since we've returned on how we can at least slow that down. One of the things that correlates / compounds that's a negative is when it's a long shot, it's a long rebound. And you need to try not to give up a long shot that they make. But then if they miss it, since it's a long rebound, then you have to try to figure out how to get the rebound. And so we've struggled with both, particularly the last 2 games. A lot of threes and a lot of missed threes. That happened at Marquette, but we were able to finish them with a defensive rebound. The 2 things that hurt us the most in Tuesday and Wednesday in Vegas was those one-pass threes that they missed or made. That's a problem. But then if they missed it and they got it back, that only compounds the problem. And so some of the good things that will be from tomorrow night's film is we're trying to solve those 2 issues that are correlated, and we're going to have plenty opportunities to do that tomorrow, which is important because based on what I know a little bit about Saturday, that applies again. And so the changes that we're making, we're going to have multiple opportunities to execute those changes tomorrow, which will be healthy, similar to what transpired against Gonzaga. How can you be better in those things, whatever those things are, into Alabama? I think there's going to be a little bit of a stair step to that on Tuesday and Saturday of this week.
Okay, Coach.
Before you cut me off, can you tell me about that feed, the food bank thing? Can you read that again?
Absolutely. Free throws.
What about it?
Food Lion Feed.
Maryland fans. Food Lion is the proud sponsor of the Score to Give More program. That's somebody wrote that wrong.
You could do your own show,
I'm going to. For each free throw the Terrapins make this season, Food Line will donate 100 meals to the local food bank for each free throw.
Each free throw.
Well, I think we're top 10 in the country in that. We can't do much good, but we've done that pretty good. I think it's 171. Let me see.
Okay.
Thomas, you're getting anxious that we're eating up dead time. John, how many have we made?
While the coach is looking at
171.
171.
Okay, so yeah, times 100. So for easy math, that's 1,710 meals. 17,100.
How about that? So the bottom line, make the free throws. Make the free throws.
It's the only thing we've done well, Johnny. Are you not saying that in your broadcast?
No, we don't.
We're
we
shooting
don't
70,
go that way.
We're shooting 78%, almost 79%. We've made 171, and the opponent has attempted 151. So old school coaches say you should make more than your opponent attempts. So we're doing good in that regard. If we quit giving the ball to the other team, that would help. And we would have a chance to get fouled. And on occasion, if we would shoot a better shot that we're maybe going to make, but occasionally miss, if we could get those back, then we would still get. This is awesome right here.
Yeah.
Thanks to Food Line.
Yeah. Thanks to
I would like my family to get involved in this somehow.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Is
awesome.
there a Food Line near you? We'll find out.
You would have to ask my wife.
He's
This
the shopper.
is my recess for the month right here.
Coach, let's do it again next Tuesday, huh?
Thank you.
Okay, head coach Buzz Williams. For Coach Williams and for Tom Marquito, our technical director, thanks for joining us from Lido's in College Park. We'll see you tomorrow night with the Terrapins take on Wagner at Xfinity Center. The tip-off set for 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
From quote to cleanup, we move fast. Call Thompson Creek and get new windows in 2 weeks, roofing in 3 days, siding in 1 week, and gutters in just 48 hours. We cut out the middleman to give you better prices and faster service, because your home improvement project shouldn't take months. Skip the wait. Call now and get a free quote. And now, for a limited time, it's our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on everything. There's never been a better time to buy.
Home, sweet Thompson Creek.
In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these two. They're all about having fun. That's fun. This is fun. Whoa. Too much fun? Nah, no such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So head to the coast and, well, just coast. Pump up the volume, or just pump up the pool floaty. From the boardwalk to the bay, come discover somewhere to smile about.
Before we talk Abbott Big Ten blood drive ideas, let's get in the competitive spirit with the scavenger hunt. I worked all weekend on that.
Save lives and help win your school $1 million.
It's okay. It's in your nature.
Come to Rosecroft Raceway for live racing Mondays and Thursdays from now until the 18th of December. Post time is 7:15 p.m. Open every day for simulcast, live boxing, and banquet space. Visit us anytime at rosecroft.com.
That's one thing I've learned from Southern. That's my hardest specialty.
All right, we're going to resume in about 5 seconds.
Okay. Got a very special guest tonight on Talking Maryland Basketball, assistant coach and director of player personnel, Aki Collins, who spent some time at Howard University. But first of all, let's go back to when it all began for you. At one time, you were a student manager?
I was a graduate assistant at Colorado for my first year. I'm trying to get on the road, trying to get a job.
Because your college career ended with an injury, right?
Correct.
You couldn't play.
And so all the assistants used to go to lunch together. And then one day I'm looking for David Moe, who is Doug Moe's son,
Sure.
and Terry Dunn, who were the other two assistants, and I couldn't find anybody. And I heard that Ricardo was going to hire one of the former players. And so I'm looking around because I want to go to lunch. You know, I don't have any money. These guys pay for my lunch. And Ricardo ends up calling me in his office, and he says, "Hey, how would you like to be my third assistant?" Well, I start smiling, and you know, I'm over the moon. And he goes, "The job pays $27,000." I said, "Great." I was like, "That's $27,000
more than I'm making
right now." So I did that for 2 years, and at that time I was trying to get the job at Howard because they had an opening, and Ricardo was like, "Yeah, that's not a great job."
Who was coaching at that time at Howard? That was
I think Mike McLeese.
okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, local guy.
And so fast forward 2 years later, Frankie Allen gets the job. Ricardo worked for Frankie at Tennessee State. Frankie gets the job. The next morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, Ricardo calls me. He goes, "Listen, you need to pack your bags for 5 days. You're going to go interview at Howard." The coach, you just told me 2 years ago that wasn't a good job. Yeah, but Frankie got the job. And I was like, I've never been on an interview that lasted 5 days. So I fly to DC. Frankie picks me up at the airport. We go to the office, and he goes, "Pick out your office."
Pick out your office.
I was like, "This is my interview." So that's how I got to Howard.
Oh my God! From what? Where'd you go after that?
How much time do you have? I went from Howard. I went to Marshall.
I got it in front. I'm going to see if you're finding the same thing I got here.
I went to Marshall for 3 years. From there I went to Fairfield for 2 with Cooley. From there I went to Marquette with Buzz for 4.
Yeah.
Left there and went to Memphis for 3. Then I went to the Oklahoma City Thunder for 5. Now I'm starting to lose it. New Mexico for 4 months, and there's a funny story about that. I told my wife and kids that I was going to go to New Mexico and I'll be back in 20 weeks. My wife's like, "There's no way possible you're coming back in 20 weeks. I got the job in October. And so halfway through, she tells my youngest son, Michael, she goes, "You know, I know Daddy means well, but he's not going to be back in 20 weeks. Well, I walked back in the house 19 weeks and 6 days later. And I was like, "Man, don't listen to your mom." So, but I knew I came back because I knew I had the Penn State job because Micah Shrewsbury and I worked together at Marshall.
Yeah.
And essentially, I told him to take his first head coaching job at IUP South Bend. And at
Penn State, you guys had a good record up there, and good recruiting too.
Had a really good run. We had the highest rated recruit in our second year. We had the highest rated recruiting class in school history at the time. I don't know what it is now. And we went to the tournament. And our tournament run actually started here at Maryland. We played Maryland and they blitzed us, but our point guard, who we weren't really playing, the backup point guard, Kanye Clary, he ended up playing, I don't know how many minutes he played in that game, but he scored like 18 points. And so from that point on, we played him 15 minutes a game over the next 12 games. Then we went 10-2. We lost in the championship game of the Big Ten tournament to Purdue by 2 points. He missed a floater. And then we lost to Texas in the NCAA tournament. But we beat Texas A&M, and the guys on the staff.
Did you remind Buzz of that?
I don't remind Buzz. I remind the guys on the staff all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, the other day we were talking about some of the great players they played against, the great teams. And I'm like, you guys didn't mention the Penn State team.
We're talking to Aki Collins, the assistant coach for the Maryland Terrapins, director of player personnel. We'll come back with more with Coach in just a minute on the Maryland Sports Radio Network. Ike College is part of Buzz Williams' coaching staff here at the University of Maryland. Always wondered, Coach, when you go out recruiting, because right now Maryland's got the third best recruiting class in the country coming in next season. What is different in the way you go out and try to get somebody to come to Maryland from other schools? Because almost everybody has the same kind of a pitch to these athletes who are outstanding in high school. How do you sell Maryland?
Well, the first thing is you have to sell coach. Kids aren't going to come to play for a school if they don't believe in the head coach and what the head coach's plan for their development is. And so I'm fortunate. I've already spent time with Buzz, and we kind of grew together. He was a first-time head coach when I worked for him at Marquette. And so I learned his likes and dislikes as I was growing up.
Quickly?
Yes, very quickly. And I've actually had to fight him on a couple of recruits, like, Coach, trust me, this'll work. And so he gives me the latitude to do that. He challenges each and every one of us in recruiting. And so I'd have to make sure that whatever young man I bring to the table can survive our environment. And that's not always easy, but it's worked out to our benefit.
Is it sometimes more than just basketball ability?
A lot of times it's just basketball. It's more than basketball ability. We had a kid, and I'll be very brief with it, at Marquette. I knew basketball wise he could function. I didn't know if he could pass through our boot camp.
Okay.
So I talked to all the older guys on this team, like, listen, we need this kid. You guys got to help him survive boot camp. He survived boot camp, and he had a phenomenal career at Marquette and professionally overseas.
Why'd you want to go into coaching?
My godfather was a coach, and so
Okay.
I was always around it. That's how I met Terry Dunn. My godfather was the head coach at Colorado College. Terry Dunn was an assistant. He was a head coach at Harrison High School in Colorado Springs, and our two families were close. So when I finished college, I called Terry, trying to get a job. He's like, "Hey, why don't you come out here and work at Colorado?" So that's how I got into it. My mother was very upset about it. She actually called my godfather when I decided to get in coaching and said, "You won." And my godfather said it was never a competition. So that's how I got into coaching.
Yeah. This team you got right now, that Coach Williams has put together, all different pieces, still trying to find the right combinations, the right way to do things. And it's really a challenge this early in the season when you haven't got the full complement of players out there. Yeah. Solomon Washington hasn't even, I guess he practiced for the first time yesterday.
Yeah. It's a challenge with essentially 14 new players, and let's just say 10, because 4 of those kids were at Texas A&M, but that's a challenge in and of itself. Then you throw in all the injuries we've had
early in the season. Yeah, I know.
And then Solomon, we had 2 games. I think we had 7 guys suited up, 5 of them freshmen. That's not a good recipe for success at any level. And so getting Solo back will help us. It won't solve all the problems. I don't want to even paint that picture, but it's something that we can.
But experience. He's very experienced.
Toughness. There's a game, like, I don't think we lose the Georgetown game if we have Solo, because what they did to us on the glass, Solomon will help with that. And
maybe more competitive against Gonzaga and against Alabama.
Yeah, I think the outcome would have been the same.
Well, perhaps, yeah. I'm just being kind now.
Don't spare me, please. My kids give it to me all the time. Dad, what happened? I have no answer, son. Don't worry about it.
There you go. Now, tomorrow night, you got Wagner, a chance to kind of get some things worked out, preparing for what will be a very tough game on Saturday against an unbeaten Iowa team.
Yeah, I got to figure out who made our schedule.
Yeah, it was made before you guys got here, right?
I can tell. I can tell. They definitely didn't want to do us any favors. Wagner's going to be tough because, like, this is their Super Bowl. And I know they play a bunch of these games every year, but if you're looking at us, they're thinking, hey, we may be able to get this one. And so our kids have to be prepared for that, have to be ready to execute at a high level and play with the type of intensity and determination that we practice every single day. It just has to transfer to the court. And we've been good in stretches. Obviously, last 2 days in Vegas didn't really work out in our favor, but I think we can get back. We have resilient kids, and they want to do the right thing.
And they will.
And so I think from that perspective, we have this positive moving forward.
Coach, great to have you with us. All the best. Great to have you here at Maryland, too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Back with Coach Williams in just a minute on the Maryland Sports Radio Network.